Hello again. A tragedy occurred, my friends. The content from the last live that I was doing a couple of minutes ago has been deleted because my phone decided to turn off. So that's fine. We'll do it again. Welcome to the Q&A for chapter 1 of Talk Like TED. That's the most recent video that we posted. If you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely give that a watch because it's going to set the context for a lot of the things and the questions which we're going to be addressing today. The book is... Where's the book? Where do I have the book? The book is here. Great book. And as I'm going through it, even for someone who has been speaking as long as I have, it's just amazing some of the things you pick up. You can't become so good that content such as this is still not great for your development as a speaker. And also thank you for everyone who engaged with the material, sent in their questions. It's been great, honestly, and I'm happy to give back by answering some of the questions that you guys sent through. So without further ado, we're going through the questions for a second time. Question number 1. In fact, before I do that, I'm just going to give a quick summary of what chapter 1 was about. Chapter 1 was about being passionate about the topic that you are speaking about. I said that if you are going to stand up and speak in front of a group of people, if you are not passionate about the content, if you are not passionate about the substance of that, it's going to be very difficult for you to stand up and then give a speech which is going to inspire people. Almost impossible. So question 1. What do I do if I have to give a speech about something that I'm not passionate about? Let's be honest. That is something that may happen to us. It would be lovely if every time we stood up to speak, we got given a topic that we completely loved. It would be nice, honestly, but unfortunately that's not how things work. Sometimes you may have to give a speech or speak about something that you might not really like. It might not really resonate with you compared to other topics. What do you do in such a scenario? I believe that's what the writer of this question had in mind when they posed it. My take on this is that there are mainly 2 reasons why you may not be passionate about a topic. The first reason is that you may simply be bored by the topic. If you are a teacher, or you are a lecturer, or you're someone who trains people, you have to replicate that content. You teach the same thing time and time again. You might repeat it weekly, you might repeat it monthly, you may repeat it yearly, but there's some repetition involved. And the point is, at some point, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to lose passion for it. As human beings, we all like a bit of variety, we all like change. That's why many of us don't eat the same meal every day. We vary it a little bit. And it's natural, very, very natural, that if you're a presenter of certain content, you lose passion because you've been presenting it for so long. Very, very normal. Thank you, everyone who's joined. Helen Silandi, Blessing Nyakonda, Gurjeet, P. Rochello, and Reticus Maximus. Sorry if I butchered those names. It's great to see the support. It's going to give you a wave. So that's why you might not be passionate if you repeat the same content time and time again. So what can you do if you're in that situation? If you're in a situation where you're repeating the same content over and over again and you find yourself getting bored and you find yourself losing passion for it, if things get really bad, don't use a blueprint. This is a mistake that many people make. They make a blueprint at the beginning of their teaching or training and then say, I've got my blueprint, now I'm going to stick to this every time that I train or every time that I teach or every time that I lecture. You're going to get bored of that. Every now and again, it's nice to do a complete revamp. Start from a clean slate and just go through the content again and prepare a new presentation. And you might think to yourself, it's going to be exactly the same. No, it's not going to be exactly the same. Because you're not going to be the same person that you were when you first prepared that content. Throughout that time, you've grown, you've learned, you've developed, and it's a different person, maybe not a different person, a more improved person who is preparing the content again. So it's not gonna do you any harm for you to start a clean slate and redo the content again. It's gonna do you favors, and it's also going to do the people who you're speaking to many favors, because they're getting new improved content, and they're also getting it from someone who is more passionate about it, because they're not simply replicating what they have been doing for the past years, weeks, months. That's the first point. Just for those who are joining, thank you. The first question, the one we are addressing right now, is what do I do if I give a speech about something that I am not passionate about? And we've just spoken about what you do if you're not passionate because you're tired of repeating the same topic. And now I'm going to talk about what you do if you are not passionate about the topic, full stop. You're just not interested. You're bored. You can't stand to hear or listen to anything to do with that topic. It just drives you crazy. The answer to this is that as human beings, our minds can play tricks on us. And the trick that our mind can play on us is that when we think we're not interested, when we think we're bored, what we actually are is not as knowledgeable as other people in that topic, so that we don't truly appreciate what is so nice about it. If that doesn't make sense, I'm going to give you an example. Imagine that you have a group of musician friends, and these musician friends often gather together in their circle, and they talk and they have conversations about very musical related things. They're even using terms that you've never even heard of. They talk about how beautiful the progressions are. They talk about some new chords that they discovered. They talk about how they heard a song that just touched their soul in an amazing way. If you are not a fan of music, you're going to probably last 10 seconds in that conversation. However, the people who are musicians through and through, they can probably talk about that for the next 2 hours. And the reason is they know about music. If you go away and you study music and you become a music scholar, try and rejoin that conversation and be as bored as you were. Very, very unlikely. So what is actually a lack of knowledge? Our brain plays a trick on us and just says, this is boring. So if you find that you're not passionate about a topic because you're not interested in it, ask yourself the question. Truly ask yourself the question and answer very, very honestly. Is it that I'm just bored about this? Or is it that I don't truly appreciate this topic and I need to read and understand it, or even speak to people so that I appreciate what is so good about this topic? And then that will be fuel to the fire of the passion that will burn within your heart about the topic that you have to speak about. So that's the answer to question 1. What do I do if I have to give a speech about something I am not passionate about? Thank you for everyone who's joined. I'm going to give you a wave. We're about to look at question 2. Is there anyone who has any questions about question 1, any comments they want to make? Just put them in the comment section and we can have a talk about it. But for now, we're moving on to question 2. And question 2 says, is it appropriate to show passion if giving a formal speech? And just before I do that, I'm just going to make sure that my phone is charging. Hanging on for dear life. Is it appropriate to show passion if giving a formal speech? I understand why this question has been asked. Normally, when we think about a passionate speaker, we think about someone standing up. Yes, I'm passionate about saving the environment. I'm passionate about climate change. Climate change is something that's injuring everybody, and everybody needs to recycle, drink from glass bottles, and do not destroy the planet. And that's the kind of imagery that we have about someone who's passionate. And we might think, is that really appropriate for a formal occasion? if you are giving a formal presentation, or you are in an interview, or you are being assessed for something, or you are speaking at some formal function, is it still appropriate for you to display that kind of passion? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. And the answer is yes because passion doesn't always have to be expressed in the same way. I'll give you two examples. Hello, Hamza Maroof, thank you for joining. I'll give you two examples of formal events at which you would show passion in two different ways. The first formal event is probably as formal as you can possibly get: weddings. If you are to give a speech at a wedding, you are giving a speech at a formal event. But that does not mean that you're going to be, shouting and displaying your passion through anger, or no, you're not. If you're maybe giving a best man speech, the passion that you display might be in terms of the expression and the enthusiasm in your voice and the tone of voice that you have. All you're doing is you're still passionate, you're just expressing that passion differently. Likewise, if you're giving a speech at a funeral, still a very, very formal event. But just before I say this, if you're at a funeral, you don't have to put too much pressure on yourself. People there are grieving and they know that you are grieving. They're not expecting you to deliver an Obama level speech. However, if you still want to, do something respectable and show passion in your speech, you absolutely can. One of the ways that you can show passion if you're giving a speech at something serious and formal as a funeral is by using emphasis, emphasizing certain words. Emphasis is amazing for showing passion. Take this example. If I said to you that using plastic is destroying our planet, let's make sure that we use glass instead, which is reusable. Compared to using plastic is destroying our planet, let's make sure that we use glass instead because it's reusable. Of those two examples, it's quite clear that I'm more passionate in the second example, and all I did, the only difference was the emphasis that I placed on the word destroying. And that's one thing that you can do. If you're giving a speech at a very, very serious occasion and you still want to show passion, just choose carefully the emphasis that you place on certain words. That emphasis will channel a lot more passion than you think. So that's question 2. Is it appropriate to show passion if giving a formal speech? And the answer was, of course, it's appropriate. What you have to think about, however, is how you're going to display that passion. There's different ways of showing passion, and before you speak, just make sure that you choose the right one and make sure that you tailor it to the nature of the event. Love you too, Hamza. Thank you for the love. Appreciate that. Question 3. I'm too scared about messing up my speech. How can I still show passion? I'm too scared about messing up my speech. How can I still show passion? And this is a very, very relevant question. You can be passionate about a topic. You can be the passionate person in the world, if that's even a word, the passionate person in the world, the most passionate person in the world. But if you're scared, that passion is not going to be able to have a chance to shine through. It doesn't matter how passionate you are about your speech. If you're scared, that passion is not going to have a chance to shine through. They're two opposite things. So that's a very, very relevant question. What do you do? What do you do if you're passionate and you're too scared? And as a result, people don't see that you're passionate because you're scared. Here's what you do. You have to sit down and carefully ask yourself the question, why am I scared? I am passionate about this topic. This topic means something to me. I've spent a long time researching this topic. So what do I have to fear? Ask yourself the question, and the answer may not come to you immediately. And if it doesn't, don't worry, ask yourself the question again the next day. And I'm almost certain that if you're truly being honest with yourself, the answer will be you're scared. Thank you, Kavi Sharma. I appreciate that. Great advice. Thank you. Going to give you a wave. The answer will be that you're scared. And it's normally a fear that is very normal. Scared of what people might think if you mess up. Scared of what people might think if you don't say the right thing. Because you're so passionate about the topic, you almost feel as if you're carrying this weight of responsibility to do that topic justice. So the fear is justified. Don't feel bad about feeling scared even if you're passionate about something. So the thing to address isn't the lack of passion. The thing to address is the underlying fear of what people might think, the underlying fear of what may happen if you mess up, and the underlying fear of what could happen if you don't do your topic justice. The fact of the matter is, the very fact, Kavi Sharma sent a request to be in your live video. I've seen this before. Go live with him. Yeah, of course, bro. Jump on. Just wait for you to connect.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes, bro. Good to see you. I saw you request to jump in on the question, man.
Yes. Thank you, man. What's your name again?
My name is Asante.
Asante, I'm Kavi.
Kavi, nice to meet you, bro. I've seen you commenting and dropping a few likes here and there.
Thank you, man. I don't know if you know Avi Sharma.
Yes. I was with him at Nottingham public speaking.
Yes. So that's my brother.
Lovely.
But yeah, give me some public speaking advice. I see you're a fantastic public speaker. Even the way you're talking right now, brilliant public speaker. Give us all some advice, some number one public speaking advice.
Thank you. So at the moment, you actually caught me on question 3, which is to do with the first video that we did. That was chapter 1 from this book, Talk Like TED. Great book. If you haven't got it, I definitely recommend it.
Okay.
And chapter by chapter breakdown of everything. So if you haven't got time to read the whole thing, you can just tune in and I'm going to be talking about them. But the question that we got sent was, I'm too scared about messing up my speech.
Okay.
How do I still show passion? Because that chapter is basically saying, if you're not passionate about what you're speaking about, there is no way that you're going to give a good speech. Like, interested in the topic, and you're just like, yeah, I'm not really too bothered.
Yeah.
How can you channel that to your audience? Some people try and fake it, but audiences are intelligent. Do you know what I mean? They can see straight through that. So that's the question that I'm on right now. So a piece of advice I'd give you is that if you ever have to speak about something, bro, make sure that you're passionate about it. Find exactly what it is in that topic that makes your heart sing.
That's fantastic advice. Thank you. So, do you know the thing though? What I find interesting, how do you know you're passionate about something? I think it's quite a deep question, but sometimes I think we all can sometimes convince ourselves that we're passionate about something, just for like ulterior motives. How do you actually know that you're passionate?
Great point. You're right.
Oh no, sorry. Oh no.
Beautiful.
Come on, we're fresh on.
I'm at University of Warwick right now. I'm at University of Warwick right now. Sorry about this. We're getting public speaking advice. If we can, any avid public speakers in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a very good public speaker.
Maybe when you're drunk. Sorry about that.
I'm actually a public speaker.
No worries, man.
What are you telling me? I'm actually a public speaker. Tell me about the competition I did in Blenheim Palace. What are you telling me, bro?
Oh man, the train up.
Do you public speak in that? Where are you from, bro?
One sec. I'm trying to remember what I was saying. I was trying to remember what I'm saying. I was saying something important.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the question. You said, how do you convince yourself that you're truly passionate? That was the question. And I was just saying to you that it's so easy to deceive yourself. Just because you see other people doing something, you might think, yeah, let me jump on that bandwagon. And what's actually going on is, it's not true passion. It's simply the desire to be accepted by your peers. If that's what's going
That's true. That's deep. That's deep.
really passionate about your topic.
Yeah.
If you want to know that you're truly, truly passionate about your topic, you know, ask yourself the question: if no one else was around to see me doing this,
Would you still do it?
100%. Yo, your boy knows. Your boy
Bro,
knows.
I do public speaking as well. My guy, come on now.
Would you still do it? Exactly. Would you still do it? No, I ask myself the question when I go and buy clothes.
Cubby, do you want to see? I just rolled one.
If I'm buying the clothes just for the sake of
No, he's not smoking.
I
He's
get,
not,
I get, I
he's
get.
not smoking now. He's talking.
yeah, man.
Hey, Cubby, smoke later.
Yes, yes.
Half an hour?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
We got like 10 grams.
We'll-
Oh, jab. Oh, you got cocaine.
Man,
We've got a bag of cat for you as well.
oh, thank you so much, man. Oh man, it's all one household, so
no worries, man. Completely understand.
my door's locked now. But yeah, no, that's great advice, honestly. So yeah, if no one else was watching, if no one else was there, and you'd still do that, you
Yeah,
think it's when it's true passion.
I was just giving you the example of clothes. Like when I go buy clothes, there's certain things you buy because of how you may be perceived. And if I'm about to buy something, I'm like, you know what? If no one ever saw me wear this, if no one ever saw this logo, or if no one ever saw the fact that I'm wearing this brand, would I still wear it? And if the answer is yes, then of course I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
If the answer is no, I'll be like, maybe I'm just doing this for ulterior motives. So that's how to know if you're truly, truly passionate about it. It applies to many things, but specifically in public speaking, that's how you should use it.
Damn, fantastic advice. And those are people from my followers who've just joined.
I see that. Thanks a lot, bro. Thanks a lot.
Make sure to check out Asante and his public speaking. He's one of the best public speakers I've seen. Make sure to check out his page and just get at that advice that he gives. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
For joining, man. I appreciate it a lot. And shout out to your boys as well, man.
Sorry about that, man. Sorry about them.
Man. It's cool.
Love. Have a nice evening, man.
Likewise, man. Take care. Bye-bye. Question 3. That's where we were beforehand. However, you know, I don't have to repeat myself because a lot of the things that I just said to Kavi are exactly the answer to do with this question. If I'm too scared about messing up my speech, how do I still show passion? Just make sure that you ask yourself the question, am I too scared because I'm just fearing what other people might think? And if that's the reason, it's not a good reason. The fact that you're stood up speaking in front of people is brave. The fact that you have done something that people regard as one of the biggest fears is brave in itself. The fact that you're putting yourself on a stage and making yourself very, very vulnerable is something which is commendable. So you have no reason to fear what are people going to think? What are people going to say? If Abby TV sent a request to be in your live video, of course, jump on again. All right, 2 requests. Go live. As he's connecting, greetings, bro. I'll greet you in 1 second. Let me just finish the point that I'm on, yeah? All right. So the fact that you're on stage is a very brave thing itself. And, you know, don't be giving yourself negativity as, you know, what are people going to think if I do this? Because if you allow yourself to let that negativity destroy you, you're going to stand up and you are not going to deliver a passionate speech. You know, the fact that you're passionate, the fact that you've taken the time to stand up in front of people is something which is commendable. So that's the answer to question 3. And that concludes the 3 questions. But bro, I'm happy that you're here anyway. Any comments, anything you want to say? Here's the floor, man. The floor is open.
How long do we have, Asante?
I was going to do a 30-minute session, and I started at past. So I've got about 4 to 5 minutes.
Brilliant. Thanks for extending it, because I know, you know, it's hit 10 right now. But and also thanks for keeping. That's my younger brother, Covey. There's 4 of us, and just from a personal note, yeah, big thanks for keeping him on. I know. He's living the life I was living when I met you all those years ago.
So, you know, it's a very interesting one. You know, it's a bubble, isn't it? But anyway, I had a big question for you though, because I really, really believe in public speaking, and you and Taz and even Joel, you were the boys who really enlightened me and you know, showed me how it opens up other possibilities in your life. Like, people think of public speaking as just getting on a stage or going in front of your directors in your company and speaking, but it has so many more, you know, benefits, doesn't it? Like, just for your confidence and your personal gain. But I wanted to ask you, like, a lot of us, we're in lockdown right now. I don't know if you covered this in part of your questions, but how can we by ourselves improve our public speaking skills?
Firstly, I'm going to respond to the first part. The gratitude that you just gave us, man. Love for that, man. Much appreciation. Much appreciation. Effectively, public speaking is more just standing up on a stage. It's a lot more than when we were teaching it. That's what we thought it was. But at the end of it, you grow in so many other areas of your life. Like, if you can address, you know, the public speaking fear, you find that other little things that you had no confidence in, you now have confidence doing. You didn't even make the connection. You just thought you were standing up in front of people, but transferable skills. So, bro, you're more than welcome. And thank you, Tree, for jumping on and showing the support. Now, to address your question, in lockdown, how can you practice your public speaking skills? This is the book that we're doing the questions from. The first video is on the first chapter, and we're going to go through all 9 chapters. But that's personally a way that I have taken myself. I said, okay, I'm going to read this book, and I'm going to go through the concepts, and I'm going to apply these concepts and see how much I can improve. Because believe it or not, even after speaking as long as I have been speaking, training people and coaching people, there is still things to learn within that book. So that's the first one. Consume as much material, whether it's from books or whether it's from videos. And secondly, talk on the phone. You know, talk on the phone. Okay. A lot of people, they're texting, even on Zoom. I've been in a lot of Zoom meetings, and people turn off their camera, and all you see is the black name, because the same fear that we're having in person can still be transferred to real life. So just be as outgoing as you possibly can. If you're on a Zoom call and you're doing a lot of e-meetings, camera on, make sure people can see you, not just when you're speaking, but, you know, just generally, because, you know, the fact that you have the bravery to be like, you know, I'm not going to be that guy with a black square. I'm actually going to put my camera on and say something will give you a lot of practice, because it's actually harder, believe it or not, when you're just speaking to a screen than speaking to people, because you can't see reactions.
That's true.
You can't see whether people are accepting what you're saying. So this practice that you're actually going to get in lockdown could be even more valuable to the practice that you get for real, because for real, if people aren't interested, you know, and you can tweak your material accordingly. However, now we don't know. You have to back yourself truly that, you know what, whether or not I can see anybody responding to this or not, this is going well and I'm going to continue. So that's 2 tips. Consume material, and number 2, just be as outgoing and as bold as possible with whatever opportunity you have, whether it's speaking on the phone, whether it's on Zoom. Obviously, people say practice in the mirror, but that gets a bit jarring.
Yeah.
So that's the least one I recommend. But the first 2 definitely are practical ones that you can do on a frequent basis.
All right, bro. Thank you so much for that, man. Thank you. And
you're welcome.
What about
you're welcome, bro. Well,
what about just the final thing I want to ask? What about, so I asked you, what do you do if you're by yourself? But like, what if you've got family members? You know, if I've got a sister, if I've got a brother, if I've got my mum or dad, are there activities we can do as a pair or something that might help in lockdown?
There are definitely activities you can do. Just to think of some at the top of my head is a bit hard, but let me just take a moment to consider it. Yeah, there are things you can do. There are definitely things you can do. I'm from a religious background, so we do a lot of things where we might read a book and we would discuss what we learned from that. And this might be done in a very formal setting, but other times it happens informally, and people are actually given an opportunity to say what they thought about that. And that's something that me and my family have been doing for years. Now, understand that not many families may have something structured like that, where they'll come together and read what they got from a book. If that's not something that you have that's formally set up, you can just make a quick request and say, I've been watching this video, I've been reading this book, read it, and let's come and let's talk about it. And when you talk, I want you to make sure that that's as confident as you can make it. I want you to make sure that that's as presentable as you can make it, and make sure that you say it as though you weren't just saying it to me, but to a group of people. So that's something that you can do. It might seem a bit weird just saying to your random family member, yo, I want you to read this book or watch this video and give me some, what your take on it is. But these are the times when some of the things that we do might be a bit unconventional, but at the end of the day, there's opportunities there, or you would step it up to the next level.
Okay, brilliant, man. That's very helpful, especially for someone who's been a bit out of touch, I feel, and for someone who just sees the value in it. But yeah, I understand you might need to go now. So to anyone watching this, I highly recommend you to follow Breezy Speaking, aka Asante and Taz, because they will teach you things that you do not learn in school, you do not learn in university. Essentially, these are just life skills, and you're getting them for free. So I don't see why you wouldn't.
Bro, thank you, man. I appreciate the shout out a lot. One more thing I can say to commend you, bro, is I've seen your videos, bro, the housing videos. You know what I mean? And on that note, I'm just going to say that what I've been seeing from you, bro, is good stuff. You're telling me that you're out of touch and you're not really getting an opportunity to practice as much. Use that platform. Use that platform as much as you possibly can, which you are already doing. Just continue to use it more and more. Engage actively with the people who are following, engage actively with your audience. And the more you do so, the better it will be. In fact, I'm very grateful that your brother jumped on and you've jumped on as well, because it's given me an opportunity to kind of go off script a little bit and press you guys, which is more like real life. So thank you, bro. Thank you. Anyone watching, follow my guy as well. Absolutely.
You're too good, man.
Yo,
But
no worries, man.
I hope we can meet again someday. I know you're up in knots, right?
Yeah, up in knots.
All right, bro. I'll be back.
Looking forward to it, bro. Once again, thanks for joining. We might as well end the video together, bro, because after you, nothing else really. So I'm off. Have a good evening, man. Take care.
All the best. Bye.
All the best, man. Laters.